Hey guys, it's Emma here again at Kurious. I just wanted to do a quick progress video on my Jack Skellington scarf, Nightmare for Christmas inspired. So here is at the moment, it's getting there, but basically I just wanted to do a quick video to obviously show you how far I am on it, and just a quick couple of kind of tips and things that I have picked up while doing this scarf. So the first thing I wanted to do to talk about was, obviously I'm changing colours in this, and I wanted the pattern to look, you know, the same. So like the same amount of black as there is white, on and on and on. So you get like fancy counter things that, you know, when you get to the end of a row, there's these things you can put like on your finger, and it's like a digital counter, and you just hit it, counts the row, and then you just carry on. I'm not doing that. I'm not paying for one of those things. So at the moment what I'm doing is using a bit of paper, basically, a sticky note, and literally just doing this. Just doing this, and every 5, score it off and carry on. So I'm doing, I think it's like 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 35, and then 2 lots of that will take me to the end, and then I'm just doing a line under it, and then changing colour, and then starting all over again, basically. So that is my way of doing it. Obviously you've got your own ways of doing it, but that's just the way I'm using it at the moment. It's free. You just use some paper, and it's really important to count the rows, because then, as I say, you get the same amount every time, and you're also switching colours on the same side as well. So when you're weaving them in, they're all on one side. Now I'll show you that I obviously made a mistake at some point in this. I have been weaving them in as I've been going up to a certain point. The last couple I haven't weaved in yet, and then somehow I've either done an extra row or 1 row less and not been counting them off. I must have just not been paying attention and not marked one of my rows off. So for some reason, see, these are at this side, and they should always be on this side of my work. But for some reason on this one, I've ended up colour changing on this side and then not realising that I was on the wrong side. As I said in my previous video, it doesn't actually matter with this pattern what side you change onto, because it goes all the way around. There is no good side or bad side. You know, there is no bits of black up here and bits of white down here. It's perfect all the way around, which I really love, but I just wanted to keep everything on the one side anyway, so I'm weaving in and it's, you know, just on one side. So what I've done is with this one, when I've done the white bit here, I've changed over to the white, I've actually just done 1 extra row, so I was back onto the other side for when I'm changing colours. Again, no big deal with this pattern, but just something I want to do, and I don't think you're going to notice 1 extra row. Other thing I mentioned in my previous video when I was talking about this scarf is that I cast on the same amount as I done previous scarves. They were much wider, so for this stitch pattern, the double stockinette stitch, which is why it looks the same on both sides, for whatever reason, I don't know the technicalities of it, but it must be like clumping the stitches together, so it's making the scarf narrower. So as I said before, this works really well for the Jack Skellington scarf because he is a skeleton, so he's really narrow anyway, so I quite like that. But it seems to be taking me a lot longer to get the scarf done as well, so it must be grouping the stitches vertically and horizontally, basically. So I feel like this one has been taking me forever. The other ones take me about a couple of weeks maybe. This one, I just feel like I've been working on it for ages, and it's still not where I want it yet. I've got a long way to go. But that's just another thing to note if you're trying a scarf with this style. It seems to take a lot longer. The other thing I want to mention was just to be careful when you are at the end of your row and starting a new row, because with the way you are stitching, doing your pattern, it's knit one and then the other one you pull it round to the front and you slip one off and then pull it round to the other side again. Your last stitch is a drop a stitch, a slip one onto the next one. So then when you're going onto your next row, you're pulling the yarn round again and knitting a stitch, but because it isn't quite, I don't know how to explain this, but because it isn't quite right, like you didn't knit that last stitch, it's all a bit wonky and it can go a bit loose. So make sure that you've got it tight, because when you're doing that next stitch, basically what you're doing is you're getting the first stitch onto your other needle and just pulling this round, but it's not like a proper knit stitch. Oh, you'll know you'll know what I mean when you try it yourself. But basically it's not quite right, so you need to make sure that you've got it and it doesn't go loose, because it's just going to make an absolute mess. So that's another thing, just be really careful when you're doing that. But that is pretty much it for this one. And yeah, I just wanted to show you the progress, and there'll probably be another video when I get to the end of this, just to show you the progress again, because I'll still be working on it. As always, like the video, give it a thumbs up, pass it on to your friends if they're interested, subscribe, and leave any comments below for any tips or tricks that you know about, and I will catch you in the next one, guys. Bye!